Hi guys, so I am going to be going through the percents review day number 1. So today's date is 12-14, so this is the homework assignment for this day. So it says that you will need a piece of paper and a calculator to complete this assignment, so just make sure you guys have that and then just follow along with me. So question number 1, using the table, answer the question about percent of change and round to the nearest hundredth if necessary. And the question says, are the scores from games 2 to 4 an increase or a decrease? So if you guys look, game 2, they scored 5 points. In game 4, they scored 7 points. So if we were to go from 5 to 7, is that an increase or a decrease? Well, hopefully you guys are saying that's an increase, because if I take 5 plus 2, that does give me 7, and that's an increase. So my answer is increase. Remember, you guys can pause this video at any time, as well as turn on closed captioning. Alright, question number 2. Using the table, answer the question about percent of change, round to the nearest hundredth if necessary. So what is the percent of change for the scores from games 4 to game 5? So if they are asking for the percent of change, remember there is a formula that goes with percent of change, and that is taking the new minus the original over the original, because if we take it over the original, that's going to give us our decimal for the change, and then to change it to a percent, we're just going to multiply it times 100. Okay, so your first number, so if they tell you game 4 is first, game 4 is going to be our original number. The second number, or the second piece of information that they give us, that is going to be the new number. So all that I have to do now is plug in my numbers into my formula and then solve it. So if we want new first, well, what was our new? Our new was 20. So I'm going to plug in 20 for new. Then it's subtracted by the original. So our original was 7. So I'm going to plug in 7 for the original. And then it's going to be over the original again. So the original was 7. And then I'm going to multiply that times 100 to change it into a percent. So again, if they tell you game 4 was first, game 4 is representing the original. And if they tell you game 5 was the second score that we need to find the percent of change from, then your second number would be represented by the new. And all you have to do is plug in those numbers into your formula, and then you just solve it. So if I were to take 20 minus 7 in my calculator, if you guys can't do that in your head, 20 minus 7 is 13. Okay. Then remember, fraction bar line means divide. So if I had 13 over 7, that means that I can take 13 divided by 7 here. And that gives me 1.857142 repeating. But if you guys notice, it tells me to round to the nearest hundredth. So remember, the nearest hundredth is the second number after my decimal point, just like with money. So if I were to round to the nearest hundredth, I'm looking at the 5. And I'm looking at the number behind it, which is a 7. And if it's 5 or greater, then I'm going to round my 5 up to a 6. So if you notice, 7 is greater than 5, so I'm going to round up my 5 to a 6. So this number rounded to the nearest hundredth is 1.86. So we had 13 over 7, and that gave us approximately 1.86. But remember, this is the decimal form. We are wanting to find the percent of change. So to change a decimal into a percent, all we have to do for our last step is multiply it times 100. So if I take 1.86 times 100, I get 186%. So this is a percent increase because we're going from 7 to 20. and that percent increase is 186%. All right, moving on to the next question. So we're going to find the interest using the formula I equals PRT and round to the nearest hundredth if necessary. So we have borrowed $1,660 at 6% simple interest for 3 years. So when you borrow money, this is talking about our principal, or the P in our formula, because remember, I is interest, P is principal, R is rate, T is time. Your percentage is talking about your rate, but remember, your rate needs to be changed to its decimal form. So 6% as a decimal, you could take 6 divided by 100, or you can move the decimal point to the left 2 times, and you would get 0.06. And then T is your time that is represented in years. So all that we have to do is plug in our numbers into the formula where they belong and then solve it. So since we're trying to find the interest, I'm going to keep I right where it is in the formula because that's what we're trying to find. P is the principal. The principal was $1,660. And remember, when all numbers are shoved up together, that means that they are multiplying. So I'm going to multiply it times the rate, which remember we had to change to its decimal form, which was 0.06, times the time, which in this case was 3 years. So if I'm trying to find the interest, all that I need to do is multiply all of these numbers together, and that will give me my I. So using your calculator, take 1,660 times, wrong one, times 0.06 times 3, and that is going to give me a interest of $298.80. So that should be my answer for that one. All right, next one, we are going to find the final balance. So we have to be careful here. We are going to find the final balance using the formula I equals PRT and round to the nearest hundredth if necessary. So we're still doing the same problem that we did for number 3. However, when they're asking for the final balance, so in this example right here, they just told us to find the interest. So our interest is what we found by just multiplying all 3 of these numbers together. But if we're trying to find the final balance, what we would have to do is take our interest and add it back to the principal that we borrowed, which was the $1,660, because interest is extra money that we have to pay when we borrow money. So if we wanted to find the final balance, we would take our principal and add it back to the interest. So that's what we're going to have to do down here. So we're going to do the same steps like we did on number 3, but we're going to have to take the principal and add it back to the interest to get our final answer. Okay? So this time we're going to borrow $5,400, so that's our principal, at 8% interest. So at 8% interest, remember we need to change it to its decimal form. So to change a percent into a decimal, you can divide it by 100, or you can move that decimal point to the left 2 times. So in this case, it would be 0.08. And then time is represented by years, so our time is 7. After you indicated what each number represents, we can now plug it into our I equals PRT formula. So once again, we first need to find the interest. We need to figure out how much extra money are we going to have to pay on top of the $5,400 that we borrowed. So it's going to be I equals, our principal was $5,400, times, our rate was 0.08, times our time of 7 years. So once again, to find the interest, all that we have to do is multiply all of these numbers together. So if I were to take 5,400 times 0.08 times 7, I get $3,024. However, this is not what they are asking. This just gave us our interest, how much extra money we're going to have to pay on top of the $5,400 that we borrowed. So if we're trying to find the final balance, our last step is to take our interest of $3,024 and add it back to the money that we borrowed, because when we borrow money, we can't just borrow it for free. We have to pay extra money on top of it. So when I add it back to the money that we borrowed, I get $3,024 plus $5,400. I get $8,424. So that is how much money I will be paying after the 7 years is up. So that should be my answer, that $8,424. So you guys can pause the video if you need to write that down, but I'm just going to keep moving on. All right, number 5, which option will gain the most interest? So we're going to have to do the same thing that we did on the last 2 problems, but this time we're going to have to do it 4 times. So the first number is our principal, so the amount that we're borrowing. Your rate, remember, has to be a decimal, and then the time is in years. So let's figure this out here. So first, we are borrowing $6,000 at 4% interest rate. So 4% as a decimal is 0.04. And then the time would be in 5 years. So once again, all that we need to do is multiply all of those numbers together. So 6,000 times 0.04 times 5, we get 1,200. And that represents our interest. So how much extra money we're going to have to pay on top of the $6,000 that we're borrowing. Okay? So we'll keep that answer in mind as we finish out the other ones. So moving on to option B, it's the principal of $2,100 at a 5% interest rate. So 5% as a decimal is 0.05, and it has a rate of 3 years. So once again, I equals PRT is our formula, and that just means that all 3 of these are multiplying. So our principal is the amount that we borrow, which is $2,100. My interest rate is the percent as a decimal, and then the time is represented in years, so in this case it's 3 years. So if I were to multiply all of those numbers together, 2,100 times 0.05 times 3 gives me $315. So based on that answer compared to the first one that we just did, notice how 1,200 is a lot bigger than the $315. So I know right away, since A was bigger than B, my answer is not going to be B. Okay, however, we still need to check the other ones. So C, this was A, this was B, now we're moving on to C. Our principal is $2,500. Our rate is 8%, so 8% as a decimal is 0.08. And then our time is 7 years. So let's figure this out. Interest equals principal, $2,500, times the rate, which was 0.08, times the year, which was 7. Then to find the interest, I just multiply all of those numbers together. So 2,500 times 0.08 times 7, and I get $1,400. So again, this interest is the amount that we're going to have to owe on top of the amount that we borrowed. So looking at A and C now, because we said B was not an answer choice anymore, which one is bigger, 1,200 or 1,400? Well, 1,400 is bigger than 1,200, so we know that A is not going to be our answer anymore, since 1,400 is bigger than that 1,200. However, we still have one more thing that we need to check, and that's D. So this says 4,500 at 7% interest rate, so 7% as a decimal is 0.07, and a rate of 4 years. So once again, I equals PRT. I equals the principal, so in this case it's 4,500, times our rate, which is 0.07, times our time, which is that 4. And then all that we have to do now, just multiply all those numbers together to get our interest. So 4,500 times 0.07 times 4 gives us an interest of $1,260. So which one has the most interest? Well, it was option C with that $1,400, since $1,260 is not bigger than that $1,400. So our answer is C. All right, next one. Mark and his 3 friends went to dinner at Applebee's. Their food bill came out to $52.35, and they want to leave a 20% tip for their waiter. What is their total bill? Okay, so this here we're talking about tip. So their food bill came out to be $42.35, and they want to leave a 20% tip. So remember, the very first thing that we need to do is find percent of a number to figure out how much was the tip if we are going to leave 20%. So remember, you cannot multiply with decimals. You cannot multiply with percents. You can only multiply with decimals. So our first step that we need to do is change 20% into a decimal. So if I change 20% to a decimal, that is 0.20, because you could take 20 divided by 100, or just move that decimal point to the left 2 times. And once you change it to a decimal, then you can multiply it times the total bill, and this is going to tell us how much our tip is. So my tip is going to be the amount of the bill, which was $52.35. Multiply it times my 20%, so 0.20. And when I do that, I get $10.47. So this $10.47 is telling me how much tip I'm leaving. So if my bill was $52.35 and I leave 20%, that means that I'm leaving $10.47. Our question is wanting to know what is the total bill after the tip. So remember, tax, tip, and markup is when we're adding it back onto the bill because it's extra money that we're leaving or extra money that we owe. So my last step to find the total is to take the price of the bill, which was at $52.35, and add it onto the tip that we're leaving for our waiter. So $52.35 plus $10.47 gives us an answer of $62.82. And that's our answer. All right. Next one. So Mark and his 3 friends went to dinner at Applebee's. Their food bill came out to $52.35, and they want to leave a 20% tip for their waiter. How much did each person pay? So if you guys noticed, this is what we just did in question 6. So we found out that their total bill after the tip came out to be $62.82. So if we were trying to figure out how much did each person pay, well, if it was Mark and his 3 friends, that means that there were 4 of them total. So to see how much each of them are paying, what we have to do is we have to take the bill and split it up 4 different ways. So think of what operation we're going to do if we have to split it up. If you guys are thinking division, that is correct. Because if we're splitting up something, we're splitting it up into 4 different groups so that we can figure out how much each of them are going to pay. So, in my calculator, $62.82 divided by 4, and I get 15.705. But remember, we're talking about money, and money is always rounded to the nearest hundredth, so 2 numbers after the decimal point. So look at the 0 and look at the number behind it. If it's 5 or greater, then I'm going to bump up this 0 to a 1, which in this case it is. So when I round it, this comes out to be $15.71. which is going to be my final answer. All right, moving on to the next question. Jordan went shopping last weekend and bought a pair of shoes. The shoes were originally priced at $124, but they are now on sale for 30% off the regular price, and the sales tax is 7%. The question is asking how much money did Jordan save? So when they're asking how much money he saved, they're only asking about the discount, because the discount is talking about how much money he's saving. So what we need to do to find discount, same thing, is take percent of a number. But you can only multiply with decimals. So when they tell us that the shoes were on sale for 30% off, this is representing our discount. So 30% as a decimal is 0.30. And remember, you can take the percent divided by 100 or move your decimal point to the left 2 times. So I'm going to multiply my 0.30 times the price of the shoes to figure out the discount. And I'm going to use my calculator here. So 0.30 times $124 gives me $37.20. And if you look at the question, they're just asking how much money is he saving. So I don't have to do anything else, because this discount, what I just did, is telling me how much money he's saving on the shoes. So this $37.20 is my answer. The next question, though, says Jordan went shopping last weekend, bought a pair of shoes, originally priced at $124. So the same exact question. However, now they're wanting to know what is the sale price. So they're just wanting to know, after the discount, what is the price of it. All right, so we figured out what the discount was in question number 8. So the discount was $37. So let me write discount here. The discount was $37.20. And the sale price is asking how much is it after the discount. So if the shoes were originally $124 and we're saving $37.20, what operation do you guys think we're going to do with these two numbers to get the sale price after the discount? So if you're saving money, hopefully you guys are thinking subtraction, right? If you're saving money, we're taking away money, which means subtraction. So to find the sale price, I'm going to take the original price of the shoes, which was $124, and I'm going to subtract it from our discount that we found in question number 8, which was $37.20. So when I do that in my calculator, $124 minus $37.20, I get an answer of $86.80. So this is how much our shoes are after the discount. Again, you guys can pause the video at any time, but I'm just going to keep moving on. Alright, so same scenario. Now they're just wanting to know what is the sales tax. So how much is the sales tax? Well, remember, sales tax is 7%, but it's going to be on the discounted amount that we found in question number 9. So in question number 9, we found that the sale price was $86.80. And the tax is going to go onto the $86.80. It's not going to be taxed on the original price of the shoes. It's going to be taxed on the amount that we're paying after the discount. So same step, if we're trying to find tax, we need to take percent of a number, which means that we're multiplying. But remember, you can't multiply with percents, you can only multiply with decimals. So 7% as a decimal is 0.07, because you can take this divided by 100 or just move your decimal point to the left 2 times. So $86.80, multiply that times your percent as the decimal form, and this is going to tell you how much your sales tax is, which is what they're asking. So if I were to take the $86.80 times my 0.07, I get 6.076, but remember we need to round it to the nearest hundredth. So looking in my hundredths place and looking at the number behind it, if it's 5 or greater, which in this case it is, we have to round up the previous number up 1. So this 7 will now turn into an 8. So my sales tax is $6.08. And that is what they're asking. So they're just asking, what is the sales tax? Well, the sales tax is $6.08. So that should be your answer for number 10. Then number 11, same exact question. However, this is the last step, and they're just asking how much did he spend in all. So if after the discount, the total was $86.80, so this was the sale price. We found out that tax was $6.08. So to get the total price, what do you guys think we should do with these two numbers if this is representing tax? Hopefully you guys said addition, because tax is extra money that we have to owe on top of whatever we buy. So my last step is to take the sale price plus my tax. So then $86.80 plus my $6.08. Sorry, my lights went out, so it's kind of hard to see now. You should get an answer of $92.88. And that is your final answer. All right, moving on to the last set of questions. So a family of 4 goes to Chick-fil-A for lunch. The mom orders a regular sandwich, the dad and the oldest child orders a spicy chicken sandwich, and the youngest orders chicken nuggets. Everyone gets 1 order of fries. 2 of them order milkshakes and 2 get iced tea to drink. The family has a 10% off coupon, and the sales tax on the food is 7%. The question is asking how much is just the food and the drink worth. So let's figure out how many of the food and the drinks that we're getting. So first, the mom orders a regular sandwich. So if you guys look at the Chick-fil-A menu, a regular sandwich is $4. So mom's food costs $4. The dad and the oldest child orders a spicy chicken sandwich. So there's 2 people ordering a spicy chicken sandwich. And if you look at the menu, a spicy chicken sandwich is $4.40. So since 2 of those 2 people got that, I'm going to add $4 to $4.40 2 times. So since they're just asking how much the food and the drinks are worth, what we're going to do is we're going to add up all of these to get the total, okay? And then the next one, the youngest orders chicken nuggets. So if you look, 8 count of chicken nuggets costs $4.10. But they also got drinks. Oh, and fries. They also got fries. So everyone gets 1 order of fries. So 1 large fry is $3.80. Okay, sorry, I had to pause the video real fast because you guys don't have this in your sentence. Everyone gets 1 order of fries. So I'm just going to mark that out real fast because if not, you guys are going to get a different answer than me. So what I have so far is I have 1 regular chicken sandwich. I have 2 spicy chicken sandwiches, and then an order of chicken nuggets. And there's no fries. 2 of them order milkshakes, and 2 of them get iced tea. So if 2 of them order milkshakes are $4.60. And since 2 of them bought them, I'm going to write it down 2 times. And then the other 2 get iced tea. So if you guys look, a large sweet tea is $2.90. So if 2 of them got it, I'm going to write it down 2 times. All right, so I believe I got everything. I got the chicken sandwich, I got 2 spicy chicken sandwiches, chicken nuggets, 2 milkshakes, and 2 sweet teas. So if they're wanting to know how much does all of this cost, all that we need to do is add it up. So I'm going to use my calculator. $4 plus $4.40 plus $4.40 plus $4.10 plus $4.60 plus $4.60 plus $2.90 plus $2.90, and hopefully you guys got the same thing that I did, and your total should be $31.90. And because there was a lot of numbers that I just added, I'm going to double check it real fast, and I encourage you guys to do the same thing on these type of problems, because when you're adding a bunch of numbers here, you may do something wrong or may forget a number. So I always just like my students to do it 2 times just to make sure, and I got the same answer both times, so I know I did it correctly. Okay, so after the food and drinks, you get a total of $31.90. Ooh. Next question, how much money do they save with the 10% discount? So if we just found the total to be $31.90 and the family has a 10% off coupon, again, to find out how much they're saving, all that we need to do is take percent of a number. So percent of a number, you change your percent to a decimal, so that decimal so 10% as a decimal, move it to the left 2 times, or just take 10 divided by 100, and you should get 0.10. And you're going to multiply it times the amount. So we just found the amount to be $31.90 from the previous question. So I can multiply that times 0.10. So then $31.90 times 0.10 gives me 3.19. So with the 10% off discount, they are saving $3.19. So this is my sales price. And the question is asking how much is the sales price. So our answer is $3.19. Okay. Next question, so we have the same scenario. Now they're just wanting to know how much is the tax. So tax is 7%. And remember, if there's a discount, the tax goes on the sales price. So what we have to do first is we need to figure out, this is our discount. What we need to figure out is the sales price. So if we are saving $3.19 to get the sales price, what we need to do is take the amount of the food and subtract it from the discount. So if we were to take $31.90 minus the coupon that we're saving, which saved us $3.19, we are going to get a sales price of $28.71. So this is how much it's going to cost them after the discount. So $28.71. When we had tax, so our tax is 7%, the tax goes on that sales price. So same thing to find tax, we're going to take percent of a number, and remember you cannot multiply percents, you can only multiply with decimals. So change 7% to a decimal, and that would give us 0.07. So to figure out how much the tax is, I'm going to take my sales price, that was that $28.71, and I'm going to multiply it times the percent as a decimal of the tax, which is 7%. So when I take $28.71 times my 0.07, I get 2.0097. But remember, we need to round it to the nearest hundredth. So looking at the second zero and looking at the number behind it, If it's 5 or greater, then I'll round this 0 up 1, which it is. So my tax is going to be $2.01. So this tells me how much tax is, and that's what they're asking in question 14. So our tax is $2.01, which then is going to lead us to our last question, which is question number 15. They're going to ask how much money did this family spend all together. So after the discount, the sales price was $28.71. We just found out that tax was $2.01. So to get the final price, all that we need to do is take the sales price, add it onto the tax amount. So then $28.71 plus the tax of $2.01, we get a total of $30.72, which is our final answer. So if you guys have any questions, make sure you email your teacher so that we can help you. Your guys' test is on Wednesday this week, so make sure you guys ask questions now before your guys' test on Wednesday. Thank you.